Here we are. Hi there, welcome back to the Reading Room Repose and to my little corner of the world. I'm glad you're here. Now, as part of my journey of discovery and thinking about writing and hopefully publishing something that I've written out into the world, part of that process has been to get involved with social media. So here I am making some YouTube videos in hopes that you will interact with me via the comment section. Also, I went back onto Facebook. I had left Facebook probably around 2014 or 15 maybe, and I went back on a couple of months ago. And I also started an Instagram, which I will confess to you, my oldest daughter runs for me. But if you're interested, you can find me at Instagram. I think it's either Laura J. Hadley or Laura June Hadley. If you see pictures of me, you'll know you found the right spot. But that to say, there have been some positive aspects of interacting with people on social media, and then there have been, I feel like, some negative aspects. The positive being that I think it was either my first or second YouTube video. Some people that I've never met before, but I think I would be great friends with them if I did meet them in real life, Kirsten and Jörg, they actually commented on one of my videos. And that was fantastic because then I was able to comment back. And so in doing that, I've actually left a couple of comments on their videos, which prior to this expedition into the YouTube world, I had never put comments on people's videos, mainly because out of ignorance, I didn't realize that YouTube was a form of social media and that it was meant to, facilitate this idea of people commenting, and then the person with the video would respond, and then there would be a back and forth, and you would kind of build a repertoire. It wasn't in the forefront of my mind that that's how YouTube was to be used. I was just mainly using it as a way of relaxation, such as watching Kirsten and Jörg videos. I love them because it's kind of like a form of travel. I get to see places of the world by watching their videos that I'm not in currently. And also for learning. So I've learned a ton about gardening from watching gardening videos. That to say, now that I know it's a form of social media, I have really enjoyed interacting with people. Oh, another person who made a comment, and I think I have commented on her videos too, would be Diane Moore. So check out those two videos. I'll link them down below if you don't know of them yet and you haven't checked them out yet. The negative side of social media, I feel like, is when I'm on Facebook, I see a lot of negativity and a lot of complaining. And interestingly, sometimes I'm surprised by the people who are complaining and who are sharing negativity. I just feel like, there's hardships in the world, there's negative things, but I feel like the best thing to do is to dwell on the positive side of life, to look for the beauty in life, to encourage each other while it is called today, as scripture says. to lift one another up, to walk through life with an attitude that is one of filling up people versus tearing people down. And so with that in mind, I thought I would share with you this little creed that I had stumbled across in a book a number of months ago. And I liked it so much that I printed it out and I hang it inside of my medicine cabinet door so that in the mornings when I'm putting on my moisturizer or whatnot, I can just review it really quickly. And I actually printed it out and shared it with my girls also. And so I want to share it with you, and then I want to share with you a little episode that occurred because I felt like I was exuding one of these things. So in the book where I got it, it just said, promise yourself, and then it has this list. At the very bottom, it said that it was originally published in 1912 by an author named C.D. Larson in a book called Your Forces and How to Use Them. So in preparation for this video, I thought I should look up C.D. Larson, having no idea who that is. And the little bit I found out about him, I'll share with you quickly. He was born in 1874 and passed away in 1954. And he was considered a leader in the American New Thought movement. He went on to publish over 20 books in his whole career and numerous articles. And this particular thing that I'm going to read you is originally a poem that he wrote that went on to be called the Optimist Creed, which I didn't actually know, all these months that I've been reading it, I didn't know that it was called the Optimist Creed. And so when I found that out, I felt like it was fitting because I think at my heart, I am an eternal optimist. And I tend to try to see the cup half full. I do, normally, but even when things are negative, I will purposefully set my mind on seeing the cup half full. So I thought that was really interesting that it ended up being called the Optimist Creed. So let me read it to you, and I will go ahead and print it down below in the comments. And I would absolutely love it if you will leave a comment, either telling me if you've heard of this before, or sharing with me if it's something that you're going to incorporate in your own life on your own journey of discovery. So it says, promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something worthwhile in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful expression at all times and give a smile to every living creature you meet, to give so much time to improving yourself that you have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble, to think well of yourself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud word, but in great deeds, to live in the faith that the whole world is on your side so long as you are true to the best that is in you. Isn't that lovely and so encouraging? I think the areas where I feel like it spoke to me the most when I discovered it was to be too large for worry, because at the time that I found this, I was really worried about a lot of things. Even though I am an eternal optimist at my core, I can still get caught up in the worries of the everyday, just as any human being does. And so I loved that, to be too large for worry. The other part that really spoke to me is to wear a cheerful expression at all times and to give a smile to every living creature you meet. One of my biggest pet peeves in my entire adult life, starting when I was a teenager, is poor customer service and people who are in the customer service industry not giving a smile, or even people in the healthcare industry not giving a smile. And so I have sought to attempt to have a happy look on my face as I go about my everyday life out in the world. And when I came across this, it's really imprinted itself even more, so that now when I go to the grocery store, instead of just like scowling and focused on what I'm thinking about when I have to get to the next thing, I try to have a light look on my face, smile as I pass somebody, and I feel like it makes a world of difference, not only for my insides, but for how I interact with people out in the world. And this is the story that I wanted to share with you. Was a couple of weeks ago, I was at the local bookstore, which if you've watched any of my other videos, you will see Otto's bookstore in some of those. And, I was thinking about this in the back of my head, and it wasn't in the forefront, obviously, but I was interacting with people. I had a nice smile. And I was looking down at something, and I recognized somebody's voice as being familiar. Not necessarily someone that I knew, but someone that I had come in contact with at some point. And so I looked up and I see this lovely woman interacting with, in a wonderful, positive way with one of the bookstore workers. And I immediately recognized her as being a lovely lady who had given a tour back in 2021 when I had done the first Victorian house tour. And if you have watched my previous videos, you know about the Victorian house tour in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, that it goes on every November. In 2021, they did something different that year, where the first day, on Saturday, there was the tour of houses, and the second day, on Sunday, was the tour of the historic churches. And so the first day, I had gone on the house tour with my friend and her kids and my girls, and the second day, I had gone on the tour with just one of my sons, and we were taking a tour of this historic church that we had never been to. It was really lovely. It actually had Tiffany company glass in the church. And the woman who gave us the tour, it was just my son and I, and the woman was so wonderful. At some point she just stopped and she turned around and she looked at my son and she just spoke this beautiful blessing on him and his life. And it really encouraged him and it warmed my heart. And so when I saw her, it's been over 3 years since then, I immediately recognized her and I gave her a smile, and she looked at me and gave me a smile back, and we were able to kind of reconnect. I told her where I had met her, and she seemed to remember. I don't know if she really remembered or not, but she seemed to remember. And we just had the most wonderful interaction of just talking and encouraging one another. And I left the bookstore with a light and happy heart. And don't we all want that? Don't we all want light and happy hearts, and to interact with our fellow mankind in a way that is uplifting to them and to us? And so that's just what I want to share with you today on this journey of discovery, that I'm happy to remind myself to not worry, to look at the sunny side of life, to work towards my goals with the idea that they're going to come true, and to go into the world, whether it's interacting on social media or at my local bookstore or at the grocery store, in such a way that I am being an encouragement to people, and to think about giving out into the world versus always thinking about taking and consuming. So with that, I hope that you are enjoying your day, that you are having a great time on your journey of discovery. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear, like I said, if you've heard of this Optimist Creed, if you decide to incorporate it into your life, what's going on in your corner of the world. Let's chat. Let's be an encouragement to one another. Well, here's your outfit of the day. And I just had to come out in front of the pretty azalea. And I think when we're finished, we'll also show you how the pots are going. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. I think it's called something like, oh shoot, I forget what it's called. A Journey to a Greenhouse? We'll try to link it. Anywho, here we go. I'm wearing earrings that one of my daughters made. I'll be sure to give you a close-up so you can admire their beauty. My silk scarf is, of course, thrifted, and I've tried to tie it in a different way, but I think it might be falling apart. This shirt I've had from the Gap for probably 15 years. These bracelets my mother actually gave one of my girls, and I'm borrowing them. These jeans, it's so funny, I never noticed what my jeans said until I started doing these outfits of the day. So if you watched a video, I think it was the same one with the greenhouse, and I mentioned that the jeans were boyfriend cut, which I have absolutely no idea what that means. Today, when I was putting these on, I noticed they say girlfriend fit. What does this even mean? Boyfriend fit, girlfriend fit. I have no idea. But either way, I love this shade of kind of like an eggplant. And then I just have my Birkenstocks. There you go, my outfit of the day. Until next time, you take care.